Hey guys, so this is just a quick video to go over the expectations of week 2. So when you're in our course, which is Humanities 2323, World Cultures, you're going to click into course content and you're going to click on week 2. The week 2 folder has several things in it, and so we're going to look at that really quickly, and I'm going to show you how to navigate through one of your weekly folders. So the first thing to take note of is that the due date is attached to the week. So this is due on Sunday, September 12th. The first thing you're going to see is your access to your textbook. So all you're going to do is you're going to click here to access that textbook. It should be right here. You can view course materials and start reading. For week 2, you're reading chapters 1 and chapters 2. So you're going to just click this next page, get through all the initial stuff until you get to chapter 1. Here you go. So you're going to read about the Azande. Okay, that's the first culture you're going to read about, all the way through chapter 1. And then you're also going to read chapter 2. Now I want to show you a trick in case you're not somebody who loves to read word for word, even though these case studies are very interesting, so I would encourage that. If you want to be more of an interactive reader, what I would do is I would take a notebook and I would set it off to the side, and when you're reading, every section is broken up by a title. So we see that this title, this reading, is going to talk about social and political organization, and it's going to be specific to the Azande. We have kinship, we have chiefdoms. So instead of reading everything word for word, page to page, you can say what are the you can create a question and say what are the social and political organizations of the Azande, and kinship, and you can then define what that looks like. Then you can go down to chiefdoms and you can define what that looks like. And what you're actually doing is you're kind of doing like a study read. So you're still grabbing the information, but you're just not reading it word for word. Instead, you're searching for an answer to a question that you've created. So another example is here. So this section is about marriage. So you could say, what is the system of marriage for the Azande people? That's your question you're trying to answer. So then you're going to start scanning until you can figure out a good answer for that question. And you're still reading and intaking the information. It's just in a more interactive study type manner. So that's just one more way that you can study your chapters as opposed to reading them word for word, if that's just not what kind of student you are. I do want to encourage you to make sure that you are using your textbook for this course. Your chapter quiz for chapters 1 and 2, as well as the rest of the chapters, those questions are taken directly out of your textbook. So if you're not accessing your textbook week to week, you are not going to do well on your chapter quizzes. So back to week 2, after you access your textbook and you read chapters 1 and 2, I have some supplemental learning material. This is completely optional. You do not have to watch it, but sometimes it's a lot of fun to put like a visual with what you're reading. And so if you click in here, you're going to find various things that are going to help you understand your readings in chapter 1. All right. Then you have your chapter quiz 1. You just click on it and take it. All right. And then you have your supplemental learning material for chapter 2. So if you click on that, you'll see that it's just one documentary. It's a little bit longer, but it's totally worth it. Very interesting stuff. All right, and then you have your chapter quiz 2. So for week 2, you're going to be reading chapters 1 and 2 in your textbook. You'll click here, right here, to access it. Okay, you have your supplemental material for chapters 1 and 2, and then your assignments are to take chapter 1 quiz and chapter 2 quiz. I want to put a little disclaimer, especially for Chapter 2 quiz. It is a fill in the blank, which means you can't just pick answers. You actually have to find them in your textbook and you have to type them in. Blackboard will give you an automatic grade. However, they don't grade fill in the blanks very well. If you misspell it or capitalize it or add a punctuation, it'll mark it wrong even if it's not. So please don't freak out if you think that you're being cheated on points. I always go back and manually grade every single chapter quiz to make sure that my students are getting the points that they deserve. All right. So again, in week 2, the expectation is for you to read chapters 1 and 2. You can view the supplemental learning material if you choose, and then you must complete chapter 1 and chapter 2 quiz by September 12th. All right. If you have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, have a great week.